The talent of the NBA shooting guards today is extremely top heavy, where in the past we've had some really strong cases of really great shooting guards, with the MJs of the world and the Kobe Bryants and the Dwayne Wades and the Allen Iversons. Today's NBA shooting guards aren't as talented of a position as they have been in years past. However, we've still got some really talented players there. Hello everyone and welcome back to Step Back with Zach, and in today's video, I am continuing on with my top 10 rankings, and today, we're doing the top 10 shooting guards this season. Before we go any further, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. It is my goal to hit 150 subscribers before April, so your subscription would be very much appreciated. Thank you. This is also the first time I'm wearing a hoodie in a video. It's getting cold, and it's great, and I love it. Just like in the point guard video, we have 3 honorable mentions. Now, these 3 and my number 10 spot can kind of be interchanged at any point, just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. This is what I have settled on. My first honorable mention is RJ Barrett of the Toronto Raptors. RJ Barrett is averaging 18 points per game along with 5.4 boards and 3.5 assists on 56.7% true shooting. He's only played 36 games this season, but he's a great downhill attacker and can really pretty much get to the rim at will. Next up, and this one is a little bit tough because years previous he could easily be in this top 10 list. However, I have Tyler Hero of the Miami Heat. Now, before we go any further, I'd like to clarify that I'm going based on ESPN's depth chart lists, and they have Tyler Hero at shooting guard and Norman Powell at small forward, so you will see Norman Powell on the small forwards list, not this one. However, like I said, Tyler Hero is absolutely talented enough to be in the top 10 list. However, he's only played 16 games this season. He just cannot stay on the court. He's one of the league's premier shooters. He's averaging 21 points per game, so he's still the Tyler Hero of old. However, like I said, just hasn't played enough games. And then my final honorable mention is one of my favorite players in the NBA and one of my favorite rookies, VJ Edgecombe of the Philadelphia 76ers. VJ Edgecombe is super talented. He started the season on an absolute tear, but has since taken a bit of a step back, but he's looked to be slowly increasing that production again and is a great running mate alongside Tyrese Maxey, and honestly, he gives me hints of Anthony Edwards. The jump shot kind of looks somewhat similar. He's super athletic. He's got great potential to be a better scorer in the future. Now, moving into the top 10. At my number 10 spot, I have Shaedon Sharpe of the Portland Trail Blazers. Shaedon Sharpe this season is averaging a career high 21.4 points per game, as well as 4.4 boards and 2.6 dimes on a pretty whack 55% true shooting. However, he is such a good inside the arc scorer, especially at the rim, where he is shooting an incredible 73.4%. And as well, he's one of the best dunkers we have in the NBA, one of the highest jumpers. I'm pretty sure he's got like a 45-inch vertical, which is crazy. It's almost as good as mine. And he's just an electric, polarizing talent that defenders will have to go up against. He does, however, still need to figure out his three-point shot. It is only at 34% this year. And like I said, honestly, you could switch him in and out with any of those honorable mentions and I wouldn't be mad at you. His defense also needs to improve a little bit. However, I just think his offensive ceiling is still really high. He's still only 22 years old. He's got a lot of room to grow. And if he can develop a consistent three-point shot, this dude's going to be one of the scariest offensive players in the NBA. Now, moving on to the number 9 spot, we have again one of my favorite players in the NBA, one of my favorite role players I had coming into this season, but has since just really stepped into his own, Nickeil Alexander-Walker of the Atlanta Hawks. And ultimately, I'm really happy about this because I love him, but I am also praying on the Hawks' downfall because the Spurs have their pick. However, Nickeil is averaging just shy of 20 points per game this season, which is by far a career high, as well as 3.6 boards and 3.8 assists, which are both career highs as well, on 57.8% true shooting, which includes 37.2% from 3 on career high volume. And I'm not hearing him be in most improved player conversations nearly enough. This dude has jumped 10 points per game and is still a very important piece to the defense as well. And speaking of the defense, he has taken a bit of a step back since his days in Minnesota last season. However, this is due to a heavily increased scoring and playmaking role, but he is still a great option as your point of attack defender. And like I mentioned just before, the playmaking has also taken a significant leap. He, as well as Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson, have really had to fill the void that Trae Young has left in terms of the playmaking ability, where those 3 are now handling a lot of the playmaking duties. I've said playmaking way too much in this segment. Let's move on. I love Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Next up in the number 8 spot, already, we have Kon Knueppel of the Charlotte Hornets. This dude is electric, and he has become one of my favorite players in the NBA as well. He's averaging 19.3 points per game and 5.5 boards and 3.5 assists on a mind-blowing 65.1% true shooting, which is second all-time amongst rookies, only behind Brandon Clark, while averaging the most points of any of those rookies in the top 10. And he has overtaken Cooper Flagg in my personal Rookie of the Year ballot, mostly because Cooper Flagg just hasn't been healthy recently. And he has already surpassed the NBA rookie record of all time of 206 made threes, where he has made 211 with 22 games still remaining in the regular season for the Charlotte Hornets. Are you serious? And no doubt in my mind that when Stephen Curry retires, this dude is going to be the face of NBA three-point shooting. I have sung Kon Knueppel's praises so often this season, and the fact that he's still contributing at such a high level as a rookie on an up-and-coming Charlotte Hornets team speaks volumes to how damn insane Kon Knueppel has been. Easily the most surprising player from the 2025 draft class. He's shooting 44% from 3 on 8 attempts, and in my opinion, he is today's Klay Thompson. He's a great two-way player as well. He can definitely hold his own on defense. He could be better. Like, he's no prime Klay Thompson on the perimeter in terms of defense, but he definitely has the tools to do it. And overall, the Hornets are 4.2 points better when Kon Knueppel is playing. Next up in the number 7 spot, and this one just makes me so happy, it is Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs. The sophomore this season, the reigning Rookie of the Year, is averaging 16.5 points per game, as well as 4.9 boards and 6.8 dimes, as well as 1.3 steals on 56.2% true shooting. And a big reason that he's this high up on the list is the fact that he has turned into one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, and it is not talked about enough. He's one of the most physically imposing defenders on the perimeter that any star guard has to face. And speaking of star guards, he is never afraid to pick up the best players on the planet. We saw him absolutely shut down Cade Cunningham. We saw him be the primary defender on SGA whenever the Spurs and Thunder played, and he will always be right up in your face and really just try to get in your head, which he does at an incredible rate. He has taken such a big jump from last season as well, where, yes, obviously last season was only his rookie year, but he is up in every single stat category this season, career highs all around. And he has solidified himself as a future piece to this team, where a lot of the time, especially earlier in the NBA season, he was in the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade rumors saying that he is the odd one out between him, Wemby, and Dylan Harper. However, now Stephon Castle is easily the second most important piece to the San Antonio Spurs core. He's an athletic freak, able to attack the rim and attack downhill to get 2 feet in the paint with the best of them. And when he wants to score, he shoots 67% at the rim. But when he doesn't, he's really good at those kick-out passes or throwing up the lobs to Wemby or especially Luke Cornett. Those two have an incredible chemistry together. And speaking of those lob passes, his playmaking overall has gotten way better, especially as the season has progressed. He started the season averaging quite a lot of turnovers, however those have cut down, but it is still a bit of a problem for him. But as we know as well, the biggest weakness in Stephon Castle's game is probably a lack of a consistent three-point shot. He can knock him down every now and then, but he's definitely not very consistent. He's no Amen Thompson from beyond the arc, that's for damn sure, but he could definitely pick it up, and I think his confidence and his volume, he absolutely will. He also had a 40-point, 12 rebound, 12 assist triple-double earlier this season. Next up in the number 6 spot, we have Trey Murphy of the New Orleans Pelicans. Trey Murphy this season is averaging 22 points, 5.6 boards, and 3.8 assists, which are all career highs on a really good 61.4% true shooting. He's one of the best two-way players in the NBA and is also one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, where he shoots 37.8% on 8.6 attempts per contest, which overall has contributed to him being 12th in total made threes this year. Trey Murphy's also one of the best deep three-point shooters we have in today's NBA. And as well as being such an incredible scorer, he's an insane vertical threat. He has the ability to dunk on anybody in the paint. He can rise up with the best of them and throw down some incredible dunks. He has had 3 40-plus point games this season, including a 44-point masterclass against the Bucks, where he dropped 12 threes, where unfortunately they lost, but this 12 threes is a season high of any NBA player this year. And man, I really wanted my Spurs to trade for him, but the Pelicans made it very clear that he was untouchable. And for good reason. The dude is really damn good. However, a big knock against his game is the fact that he has been very inconsistent this year. He will go off for multiple high 30s, high 20 plus point games and then have games in the low teens and single digits. So he needs to work on that, but it also doesn't help that he's on debatably the worst team in the NBA. I love Trey Murphy, man. Next up in the number 5 spot, we have Desmond Bane of the Orlando Magic. A very welcomed addition to that team. He's averaging 20.3 points per game, 4.2 boards, and 4.1 assists on 60.1% true shooting. Now, something that I've absolutely loved from Desmond Bane this season is that he has kind of turned into a villain this year. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, he's been kind of a dick, which is fine because we gotta have villains somewhere. After the Orlando Magic traded an absolute haul for him, he kind of hasn't been the player that they were expecting. They thought they were training for a high volume 3-point shooter. However, his 3-point shooting volume has declined, but he is still shooting 39% on 5.3 attempts. So he's still a damn good 3-point shooter, and he's been a really nice complementary piece beside Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero, but he has also been the more consistent player, especially on the court this year, because those other two have been dealing with injuries all year, especially Franz. And he's stayed a pretty solid defender as well, although he's got really, really short arms. He's really damn stocky. Really strong dude. The Magic are also 3.3 points better when he is playing, but ultimately I don't really have much else to say about Desmond Bane because I haven't really watched Magic games this year. I kind of find the Magic boring to watch. My bad. Now the top 4 is where we get into the real heavy hitters. At number 4, I have Austin Reaves of the LA Lakers. Austin Reaves is averaging 24.1 points per game along with 4.7 boards, which are both career highs, as well as 5.4 assists on an insane 66% true shooting percentage. And this dude has been the perfect running mate alongside Luka Doncic all season. However, he had that very, very long absence due to that calf injury he had. However, he has absolutely solidified himself as the second option on this team, overtaking the GOAT, LeBron James. But like I just mentioned, he did have that pretty gnarly injury where since he has come back from it, he hasn't been the player he was. Pre-injury, he was averaging 26.6 points per game on 50.7% from the field and 16.2% field goal attempts, where he had games where he had a 51-point near triple-double, and then the very next game followed it up with a 41-point masterclass, so a total of 92 points in 2 games, and then the very next game after that, he had 28 points and 16 assists against the Minnesota Timberwolves. And all of this was without Luka Doncic. He has been a beast when he has been the first option this season. However, since he has returned from his injury, he is averaging 18.7 points per game on 49% shooting. So the shooting percentage hasn't really dropped off that much. However, his volume absolutely has. He is now shooting around 12 field goal attempts per game. And this is massively due to the fact that he is playing significantly less minutes. And ultimately as well, I believe Austin Reaves should be in the most improved player conversations, but he really isn't. Again, which is crazy. He's absolutely incredible at drawing fouls. When you play alongside Luka Doncic, you kind of tend to pick up on those tendencies. And when he's not trying to get these foul calls and when he's actually attacking and wants to finish at the rim, he is shooting 82.9% at the rim this season. Although not on the biggest of volumes, that's still an incredible number. He is an absolutely insane catch and shooter as well, where he has a 63.5% effective field goal percentage, which is crazy. And ultimately, the Lakers are 5.1 points per 100 possessions better with Austin Reaves available and on the court. Now, as we move on to the top 3, these 3 players have been heavily debated for a long time about who is better. So again, if you want to change these around, absolutely feel free, but I think this season the top 3 are pretty obvious in their rankings. At number 3, we have Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. Now, Devin Booker is having a down year this season at 24.7 points per game, 3.9 boards, and 6.1 assists on just shy of league average true shooting, 57.9%. Like I said, he is having a noticeable down year. However, with an insane roster turnaround and a brand new head coach trying to figure out a new offense, this is kind of excusable. So I cut him some slack. But when Devin Booker is on the court, the Phoenix Suns are dramatically better. Their offensive rating is 117.1 and they have a record of 27-17. team, and when he is not playing, this offensive rating drops all the way to 108.8, which is terrible, and they only average 103.8 points per game, and they are 7-9. So Devin Booker dramatically improves his offense in general, even though he's not having the best season himself. The Suns are a plus 8.2 net team when he plays, so really shows his value. And just overall, he's an incredible leader. And he's really just allowed Dillon Brooks to figure his play style out, and he's just really let him shine. His inside the arc game is pretty much just like it always is. His field goal percentage is roughly the same. His attacking at the rim and finishing at the rim is roughly the same. It is ultimately just that three-point shot that has really fallen off a cliff. I believe he is shooting just above 30% from three, which is the worst of his entire career. However, he'll sort it out. It's Devin Booker. The dude scored 70 points in the game. Next up in the number 2 spot, we have Donovan Mitchell of the Cleveland Cavaliers. One of the most electrifying players to watch this season. He's just incredible. The Spider is averaging 28.5 points per game, which is a career high for him, and 7th in the NBA, as well as 4.5 boards and 5.8 assists on a 61.4% true shooting percentage, which is tied for a career high for him. He's one of the best scorers in the NBA, a threat to go off for a lot of points at any night. He has had 5 40-plus point games this season, including a 48-point masterclass against the Washington Wizards, where the Cleveland Cavaliers really needed it. Otherwise, they would have lost. And keep in mind, this dude has scored 71 points in a single game before. He's also one of the best three-point shooters we have in the NBA. He's made a total of 191 made threes, which is 3rd in the NBA, only behind Kon Knueppel and Tyrese Maxey. He has also got this insanely unstoppable swim move that he does to get past his defenders to get at the rim really easily, and it's really effective, where he shoots 67.1% at the rim. And he has an insane plus 10.6 net rating when he is playing. And the Cavs look like one of the best offenses again that we have ever seen with him on the court, 121.9 offensive rating, and without him, this drops to 113.1, making them a below average offensive team. And although he's not the best defender in the world by any means, his size and his long arms help him be an actually underrated defender. The dude's a high flyer as well. He's 6'2", but can posterize almost anybody. Shout out Donovan Mitchell. I'm really excited to see the playoff run that they're going to have with him and James Harden. Now, the number 1 spot, to absolutely nobody's surprise, we have Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards this season is averaging a career high 29.5 points per game, which is also 3rd in the NBA, only behind Luka and SGA, as well as averaging 5.2 boards and 3.7 assists on 61.6% true shooting, which is a career high for him, as well as 49.3% from the field and 39.8% from 3, which are both career highs. Yes, he's shooting better from 3 this season than last season, although this is on lower volume. That's still super impressive. He's also got a career high offensive rating of 118.3. And in my opinion, he has probably become the best all-around 3-level scorer in the NBA, where he heavily emphasized this past offseason working on his mid-range scoring, and this is really coming to full effect. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA, now one of the best mid-range scorers, and obviously one of the best at attacking the basket. He will dunk on anybody. He's also a really good catch and shooter. He's shooting 51.1% on his catch and shoots this year. And going back to that mid-range game, he's averaging 56% on his twos this season and is shooting 63.2% from less than 10 feet. And as well, he has had 8 40-plus point games this season, which includes a career high 55 points against the San Antonio Spurs. Although they did lose that game, that was an insane watch. He's just an absolutely electric player, such an easy guy to root for. His media answers are always hilarious. Anthony Edwards, no surprise, number 1 spot. Now that is all from me for this video of my top 10 shooting guards. Let me know if you guys agree or if you don't agree. These lists are fun to do, man. Let me know what you would change. But just like I said in the intro, please don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.